Hello, everyone, and welcome back to URS once again. It is round number 4 of season 4, and we are here in Great Britain. And we come back to tackle the first third of the season being complete. After today, it will be. The first third of the season will be complete. I'm your commentator, Ryan Ocon31, and alongside me is Morgan Cheeseman. Welcome along.
Hello, everyone. Yep, great to be back. Home second, which is good. I'm looking forward to this.
Absolutely, I agree. So, we'll go over last week and the previous weeks in a minute, but what have you been up to since the last time we've
Me?
commentated? Yeah, how have things been?
Ooh, well, some personal questions. Brilliant. Finally getting into the outsides of commentating. Yeah, not bad. Work has been good. Had a family meetup this weekend. It's been good. Good. How about you, Ryan? So how's life been treating you?
I've been pretty good. There's been a couple things that have kind of, I guess, interfered with this week. It was really, really cold. I know a lot of people will, make fun of the fact that us Americans go by Fahrenheit, but I did look up how cold it was in Celsius, and it was Friday night into Saturday morning. It was negative 24 degrees Celsius. That's how cold it was here.
What?
Yep, and that's
You're
what I mean.
joking.
I'm not. I am actually not. You'd think I'm in Finland right now, but I'm not. So, it was cold. It was quite cold, but no, I'm glad it's not
Bloody
that
hell.
cold here today. It's, uh, it's like 25 degrees Fahrenheit. That's close to 0 degrees for you guys, Celsius. So, yeah, it's quite cold, but it's getting better at least. We had our one cold day, and then it's gonna be 40 degrees Fahrenheit the whole week at the high. So that'll be the single digits for you guys if you want to transfer over to Celsius there. But yeah, it's been a cold one, but I've been hanging in there, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I can imagine. I would. It's See. I feel like this is one of the things that would sort of draw me away from America, just of how cold it can get.
There's certain places you got to
I
go though for it to get that cold, Like
Oh
here,
yeah.
here usually that weather would get in January and usually be for long periods of time. But the good thing this year is like that was probably the coldest it's gonna get and coldest it was because this whole week will be 40s Fahrenheit that is. And
Right.
usually winter time when you have that stretch when it's that cold, it usually stays that cold for a good week or two. So I'm glad it's not like that. But back to URS though. Let's go over last week's highlights, last week's results. Last week it was Will Cromack getting his second pole at Jeddah. Surfy ended up getting his best start of third place. The qualifying incident with Novak and Pluto happened, resulting in a race ban for Novak. That penalty will be served this week. We'll go into the rest of the penalties served in just a moment. But now onto the race. Surfy went on to lead by 3 seconds before the pit stops came. And then right before the pit stops did come, he spun out and just lost it. He lost the chance of winning the race back in the pack. He collided with Riles on a safety car restart. Also in a safety car restart, there was the big collision with Aaron Ocon, Novak, Rowdy, and a couple others had to take evasive action. But as for them, penalties were sorted out into that race. Novak got the 15-second for readying up before he was supposed to. And from that point on, it was Will and Chungus really battling it out for the race win. Paulo and Joseph were the ones trying to battle for the podium, and a couple others behind trying to help themselves get onto the podium. While that happened, Lando and Sam made some good recoveries, and that wasn't enough for their podium. In the final lap, Joseph lost the rear. Paulo ended up taking a podium and ended up being second place because Will Cromack earlier had ended up taking a 3-second time penalty, putting him farther back, meaning he would not finish on the podium. However, in front, race redemption, Chungus Goat won, first career win, now leading the championship. I must say that is a very good way to lead the championship for the first time.
Definitely, yeah. This is from Saudi, isn't it? Yeah. Chungus with it. You say his first win.
Yes, and
Is
after
that right?
last season
Yeah.
where he crashed with Pluto in turn 27 on the last lap.
Fantastic. It
That's
just shows that anything can happen.
exactly, yep.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it
Exactly.
since what, race two? Anything can, especially at the start of seasons. It's just r- uh, first win, first result. Oh, can't speak. First position can be taken by anyone in the first few races, but then it sort of settles in during the next, say, middle half of the season. You get those repeating few that top the tables.
Yeah. Another thing as well involves the drivers and constructor standings. How about you go over that, Morgan?
One moment. Just let me get it up. Sorry,
Drivers and
the
constructors.
what? Right, and constructors. Let's run through that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the driver standings currently it is Chungus with 60 points. He's currently leading, and there in the Williams we then have Polo from the Haas who is trailing behind on 43 points, and then we have Jab in third with 42. Nice, nice little battle that can go on between them two there. We then have Blue Gogi in fourth with 26. With, am I right in thinking it's his best point scoring of the season so far?
Yeah, he's doubled his total from last season.
Yeah. And then we have CJ behind on 20. And then in sixth, Lando. Seventh is Sam. Eighth is Joseph. Ninth is Matty. And 10th is Will Cromack. Shall I read through the rest? Might as well.
Constructors. You could go to
The
constructors. That should be good.
I could go to constructors. That's a good point. I'll do that. So
Almost gone.
other
Almost been here.
constructors currently is Williams at the top with 102 points. Very good from them. They're taking a very strong lead at the start of the season. We then have Haas in second with 55, Alfa Romeo with 42, Ferrari with 33, and then McLaren with 25 points, Aston Martin with 17, Alfa Tauri with 15, Red Bull with 12, Alpine with 6, and Mercedes coming in with 0.
Ugh. Yeah, and in
I know.
fact, it has to be mentioned. It was mentioned in the fun facts early in the week, but Mercedes have ended off their last six races with only 1 point, and that is since the win in or sorry, not the win in France, the podium in France for Calm, and Will's points finish in um, France for Mercedes. That is all after that happened. So that's from Austria onwards. It has not been great for Will. I was going to say Williams. It's been great for Williams, but it's not been great for
Been
Mercedes
great for Williams.
at all. Yeah, Williams have such a big lead to where really I would say we can say that they'd win the constructors, but they need something catastrophic to happen in order for them really not to win the constructors, or at least have any team be within a race, because Alfa Romeo have been consistent points finishers. They have had many opportunities to get a podium with Goggy, just have not done so. Goggy's still looking for his first, and Sam's still looking for that race win that he's been missing for the last couple of seasons. In fact, this race a season ago, he got a puncture on the last lap. So, there's a lot of things missing for them. Speaking of a couple of things, driver changes. Surfy is now in the AlphaTauri. He has replaced Kostag, who had missed 3 of the last 5 races, meaning that Haas spot gets taken by Pluto, who won this race last season. That could definitely help them out for sure. I could tell you that right now with Haas. They need something to be able to fight Williams back with. And Pluto said he's not been able to match his times necessarily. He's been close. So, with how close this field is, Pluto should be back up in the swing of things and contending with Polo. And Polo got the podium last week. So, you know what? Williams do need something catastrophic to happen, or for Haas to simply just keep outscoring them in order to not win the constructors at this rate.
Yeah, it's very true. It could be like the 2022 season. Ferrari were storming away with their wins and things, and then halfway through the season, it just sort of fell. It fell. It was, but you don't want to see that happen to a team that's leading the constructors, but it's it's possible some things can go wrong. Drivers who the full-time drivers who are in the seat could miss out a weekend or so, and that can change the race or change the whole scale of what the constructors championship will be. You've got there's so much on the line. If you miss one race, or if your strategy isn't 100% up to standard of what it could be, it can destroy any sort of chance you get at winning the constructors or in the drivers championship for that matter.
So quickly, I'm going to go over the previous winners of this track. I won the race in Season 1. That was my second win. A little three-car battle at the end of the race. Blue Goggy spun on the safety car restart, meaning his chances of winning with the 3-second penalty he had at the time was not going to be done. And Thrasher almost won the race on track. That was his last podium in URS, all the way back round 10 of Season 1. Season 2, it was um, it was a battle throughout. It was, I believe, the first full-time race without any, without any standard safety cars. And since it was unreduced, no VSCs, no safety cars, a battle throughout with AlphaTauri, Alpine making up the first 4 spots. But it ended up being Davis who won to start off the season opener. Sam and Com on the podium. Com took his first pole. And Sam took a pole, in fact, in the Season 1 race. And Season 3, last season, pole was taken by Com again. And then in the race, it was Pluto, Sam, and Toneless the podium.
Was that last season race?
Yeah, that was.
Oh wow! I like how you plugged in your own win there on the first. It was like, I see. It's almost like it wasn't subtle, but it was like, yeah, I won that first race. It's like you'll never let it go.
And then the pens to be served as well. You have GSR Riles with a 10-second today.
Oh, and Navik, the race ban.
Right, yeah, that was mentioned earlier, but that still is worth mentioning because Thrasher's back.
Yeah, Russia, woo! Oh, right.
Just sending a message in the reserves chat, so that's why we were not ready up to answer your question, Joe, in main chat. But anyway, let's go over the first starts and reserve appearances and all the changes for this weekend. So another one of those changes that was not mentioned because of Pluto and the Haas is Brute Gorgon is back full-time, and he is in the Aston Martin. The thing with Brute is he got kicked out of a full-time seat due to the penalty points he reached by Monza of last season at the halfway point. Due to that, he could only reserve to end last season. And because of that, he raced one race at Abu Dhabi in the Aston Martin. So he has a little bit of feeling in the Aston Martin, but since moving to the next-gen console, he has said himself, I feel like I'm as fast as Jeb will AMSU. And that is a big statement considering Jeb is in the Williams. But with that statement, he's now full-time, he's now got to prove it, and you know what? He's got his chance to prove why that full-time seat rightfully was his now. And a couple other things to mention reserve-wise. F1 driver, his teammate in the Aston Martin. He is reserving for Matty Mumu, who is not here today. That makes up part of the other half of the full grid with reserves. F1 driver, 1 year ago on the Monday, won the USA race. That was his only win. That was with Haas. And then Fire King, reserving for Ferrari. His last appearance was round 4 last season. And in fact, he has not made Q3 since all the way back in Brazil, Season 2, round number 5. So, Fire King, on his return, reserving for URS, trying to also prove why he deserves a full-time seat as well, trying to make his case, and maybe why he probably deserves top reserve priority after what happened with Novak last week with the collision with Pluto. You know, that's going to be a big thing that will be talked about. Reserve priority. Terry, Fire King, Novak are the 2 reserves at the highest stage of things with Red Bull, Ferrari, and so on. And, you know, they will get chances to reserve when people like Aaron Ocon, Will Cromack, who's missing today, Lajovic, and Thrasher are missing. But that will be the case that Fire King tries to prove today. Why he deserves to be top reserve priority after what happened last week.
Yeah, that's very true. You've always got to show your worth, basically. Show what you're made of, and if that's the best, the best of your abilities, you see what happens when it comes to people who have popped out at some point to, if it's Fire King and what Navica reserves, you've got to see you see what they can do, and if they show their best and it's not the best, that they can stay in with the reserves. But when it's like a racing seat, a full seat is on the line, you've got to show everything and more. It's there's so much to it. Not just how quick you are or how well you are at defending. It's the way your strategy is. It's the way that it's how you race on the track. It's
So yeah,
for you know yeah.
yeah. The one thing I was gonna say is I was
That's where I
talking
was
to.
going with that.
Yeah, no, no worries. I was talking to Logivic earlier in the week, and I said, I think the big thing is, in my own opinion, is in regards to you can have the outright pace in this league, you can have good pace, but the issue with a lot of people is they have good pace, but they just don't win races. You could have the fastest car and don't win races here, and that I would say sometimes is down to the fact of strategy, as you said, consistency, um, just mistakes, just anything, dirty air, not being smart enough, penalties. It goes down to anything really. Another thing as well that I was going to mention is the drivers are mentioning that there is rain in the race. Rain in the race. It does not look like there's anything in qualifying. However, there's a
Yep.
25% chance after 30 minutes. There is a 87% chance after 45 minutes. So there is how things look for the race, and that is why Aaron Ocon is the only driver on track right now.
See, Britain, it's unpredictable. Britain can either be a nice, beautiful day, like it is in quali, and then it could chuck it down a minute later. It's so unpredictable.
It is almost like
I mean,
last season. Do you go wet setup? Do you go full? Do you go full dry setup? Do you just try to split
exactly.
it right in the middle and make it a altered setup where it's half dry, half wet? What do you do?
If when it comes to Britain, I would normally just stick it down the middle because it's so temperamental. You just don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, some drivers might be brave and they might go on a full dry setup, but some drivers who I know they might go full wet. It's
Yeah.
just so unpredictable.
Well, it'll be unpredictable what Aaron can do on this lap. Let's watch his lap. Let's watch his lap now. All right, coming through turn one, turn two. I don't know how much he's pushing because there's only 3 drivers out on track right now. One of them being his teammate, one of them being race winner Pluto from last season. That's the thing I wonder here. Is he on a wet setup? Is he on a dry setup? Did he not think about it in time? Because Park for Maison. A lot of these things have to be considered when you are going out on track for the first time in Q1. The first sector is going to be a 28-0 for Aaron. Fourth gear through here, maybe going to go down to third? No, he's going to stay in fourth, then go down to third. And already 75% on this battery as we head up to Cops Corner, where the famous collision now with Hamilton and Verstappen talked about quite a bit. Coming through here, shifts down to 7th, lets off, doesn't hit the brake, I don't think. Now coming to Maggots and Beckett's, we've seen a couple collisions in URS here, a couple from F2, one from Season 2 in this race. On the opening lap it was. So a lot can happen in this race, and that'll be the thing that Aaron shows us with his lap of 4.6. Purple through there. Aaron, through these practice sessions that drivers have been doing, has a decent pace, but mistakes have been a big thing for Aaron to start off these first couple races. He has had a total of 0 points in the first 2 rounds. That is similar to what he had last season. Did not score points, in fact, until round number 5, I think, in Singapore. However, coming to the line, he spins!
Oh,
Is he going to get a lap time in, though? Yes, he does. 30.6.
so that will obviously get beat, but that was one hell of a way to finish a lap.
I agree.
Giving
I
a
agree.
style as he goes around the final corner. That's Plays it off smooth, let's say. He plays it off smooth.
Yeah, why not be the first one? Why not be the first one to spin that? I guess you know. That's what I just, you know. CJ's on a lap and he's just invalidated now. Unfortunate for CJ who is starting a lap. Riles actually was ahead of him while watching him at the end of Sector 1. The Alpine is not really that bad around here. It's, you look, I've tested a lot with the Alpine. I understand how it is around here. The thing you have to be very careful about is the rear. And I think that's a lot of people here. You do not want your rear tire pressures all the way to the right. And that is exactly why you could spin where Aaron did. Or just not being careful enough on the throttle. You know, turn 1, Cops Corner, Stowe. Those are 3 corners that, if you're not careful enough with, you will spin out with pressures that are all the way to the right. Or if you adjust them all the way to the left, or close enough to all the way to the left, you will not spin out in those corners automatically by default. And Pluto set a time that's a 28.8. You want to talk about last season's pole time? Well, that's 6/10 off of it right now. So we're getting close to that already. When last season's pole time was in a session that had some dry, I wouldn't say some dry running in the race, but some dry setups, some wet setups, had a variety of different things with the drivers. So you could see half the people, if not more, already in the pit lane. Got a car in front of Riles. That's, I believe, the Ferrari. That is Fire King, potentially on a lap and potentially blocking Riles. He gets out of the way now. Riles comes to the line. He nearly spins, but he will get a 29.7. And Fire King also sets in a time.
That was interesting for Fire King. He was on a very slow lap. So
now Riles is going to get in the way of him almost.
So almost
battling. Yeah. Must have been a repeat.
Must have. Off-track battling as well. You know.
Aaron seemed to have liked the 360 across the line too, by the way.
Who did that?
I said Aaron seemed to have liked the 360 across the line that he did.
Oh yes. I feel like that's gonna be like a highlight sort of thing in the.
Maybe. It is an easy corner to spin in. It is an easy corner to spin in. I know there was a race. It was T McMurdoch, and it was some cheater and PSGL, I believe. I'm not kidding. He spun out that same corner. He spun out that same exact corner, and what happened was he lost the race from it. And T McMurdoch went 3-1. And he just had to cruise to the line. So that's what happened. Fire King on a lap right now, and he's now spun out and invalidated it, and he might be stuck right here. I think he is. You can get away resetting. You can get away resetting on qualifying if you are not near anybody, I believe. But he's just beached right there. And he's going to reset right in front of the Alfa Romeo.
Right in front.
Yep, that was close. Maybe that'll be under investigation. But Jab setting a time right behind Pluto. Surfy setting a time 2/10 faster than Pluto, in fact. I'm sure people will be questioning his cars after that. But I think the thing for me that I think of, you know, with his time right there is, yeah, that's quite a fast time. 28.6 we're into. But, you know, I wouldn't just give it just this race with car placements, because Surfy's now been changed to the AlphaTauri, and we'll see if this is a one race thing for him, or if it's a continuous thing with pace-wise to where he's too fast for the car or not, you know. And people always think after one race that someone should be moved. I disagree, especially with how it's been lately.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just the car; it's the track as well. A strong round the track, you know.
Depends with the car too.
They've got an advantage. Well, yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's a bit of both, you know. If they're strong in the car and they're strong in the track, it's a deadly combination. But
Sam, go ahead.
No, I'm done. For now, anyway.
Well, it's 28.1 in the first sector for Sam. And now, heading out there, 5th gear, 6th gear, up the gears he'll go. You know, I've seen a couple of drivers, some have slightly tapped the brake here, some have let off. He tapped the brake and then gone up. Okay, well, interesting from Sam there. Certain cars can only do certain things around that corner, you must say, but now a lot more drivers are out on track figuring out their setups, whether they're going to go wet setup, dry setup. See, I think that's another thing, too, with, you know, you look at Surfy's time. F1 driver goes second. And his last start, all the way back, Abu Dhabi, round number 6 of Season 1. Fair play to F1 driver. Now Sam, coming through here. Stowe corner, 5th gear. Up the gears he'll go again, heading to the chicane. Going to commit beautifully into here, clipping a bit of the curb inside line. Now not going to hit the Red Rumble strip. But now, on the run to the start-finish line, what's Sam going to do? Can Sam go fast? He can go 29.3. That's going to get him safe so far with the way Riles and Aaron's times are. A couple more drivers started either coming to the line to finish ones. We're going to go on board with GSR Thrasher. I believe that is Calm coming across the line. That's going to be third place for Calm. How about that? So, you know what? There are a couple drivers who are close to Surfy. There are a couple of drivers with the times I'm seeing right now who could be running dry setups. Could be running wet setups. You don't know. Especially with the way that the races tended to be. Thrasher now on a lap. Turn 3 here. Coming through the beginning bits of Sector 1. GSR Thrasher missed last week. And he has not finished in the points since last season. And now it is an invalidation. His only points finish came back in Abu Dhabi at the end of the last season. The final round. Blue Goggy now.
Good business. Blue Goggy, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say just
About to start a lap. Alright, yep. Well, coming to the line. Yeah, that was somebody who just came to the line. Yep, it was Joe, 9th place. I think he's going to start one now. However, Goggy just started one. Third gear in that corner. Maybe going to go down to second here. Slides and almost goes around. Didn't spin it, but I think he's going to continue going. Also coming across the line was Lando. He completes lap. Joseph F1 does as well. The top 6 within 3/10 right there. Goggy through Sector 1, 28.3. It was not the perfect Sector 1 at all, so he's going to have to go out again. Going a bit wide there into the entrance. And that same corner, he was involved in a collision Season 1. It sent Polo got out of the race. A couple other cars involved. A little bit of the contact model back in last game's event at Britain. But now through here, Cops Corner, 7th gear for Goggy. A little bold through there, you must say. However, now coming up to Maggots and Beckett's. Coming through, trying to find some time to improve after his Sector 1 mistake. Coming through the middle sector, it's a 5-0, so he's definitely down. He'll probably be around the Riles and Sam range if he just continues going at a decent rate. However, he's going to have to come through this whole sector beautifully in order to make sure he's in by this one lap. Or at least safe enough for one lap. But he'll maybe need another one with the way he's going right now. It will matter based on circumstances. Speaking of circumstances, CJ comes across the line 7th. Goggy slots in behind his teammate. That is 9th place for him.
Yeah, you were right with where he was going to sit between Sam and Riles. That's some pretty good guesswork there. It's, well, not guesswork, is it? It's yeah. See, this is why you are the lead commentator. You understand where everyone is.
Well, let me see if I can see where Polo's going to go. I'm going to say, I'm just going to guess right now, top 3 here. You know, he's got his teammate now, Pluto. Chungus slots in 3rd. What's Polo going to do? He gets the same time as Con. Polo goes 3rd. How would I say about that?
He's done it again.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty good with this. Well, maybe not a couple seasons ago I wasn't, but I've gotten better at this, I'll say. I'll tell you that right now. 28.6 being the top time. So, with that said, Surfy is now leading a qualifying session. This would be his first qualifying session led, if he were to complete it. 17 drivers have now set in times. A couple more slotting in times. I believe that was Thrasher or Aaron who set a lap. One of the two completed one. Chungus, like I said, same time as Com. But with Polo, yeah, he now has Pluto as a teammate once again. The last time they were teammates, you got to go all the way back to Season 1. And in fact, this race they were teammates. And Fire King, about to start a lap, spins, slides coming to the line, but he's still going to go for it. Fair play.
That's commitment right there. It is commitment. He's. I mean, I'm not on board with him. We'll see where he is. He's just going through. Where's he going through? Village, I think. Is that Village? Yeah, that's Village.
I need to try to figure out corners too. You reminded me.
I got a sheet right by me. So it's
I'm about to do the same. Common F1 driver think they're safe, and I think that's a fair assumption with how this session has gone so far. However, preseason was an example of why you don't want to retire too early, or at least think you're too safe, because look at the gap really between the top 8, 3/10 right there. And you know, Season 2 saw a gap between really the top 15 within just a ridiculous amount of gap. You know, with the drivers in, with the drivers out. So you don't want to bet on it too much is what I'm going to tell you right now. But Fire King coming through Maggots, Beckett's, now going to come through Chapel. Now gonna go to the hangar straight. See, I'm getting the hang of things, right? You know, no pun intended.
See, you're eating everything right there.
Aaron Ocon, 9th place on our boards. He's gonna make sure he's in the Q2 this time. Also, on the risk of elimination, you have Brute Gorgon. We get to settle lap. Lajovic and Rowdy. I don't know if Rowdy went on track or not, but Rowdy trying to get in after last week's disappointment in Jeddah, where he probably should have comfortably been in, but wasn't. Fire King across the line. He's 15th, but he's going to need to improve if he wants to get in. Surely somebody behind him is going to beat him if he continues going at this rate. Rowdy, Lajovic, all on out laps. However, Joe Hansel. A gamer tag change, QBR20 Joe to Joe Hansel, we're going to call him. Chungus Goat, Polo God, Joseph all think they're safe. Joseph's might be a little bit of a risk, but the rest should be good. Pluto, Jab, all retire. But Joe coming through invalidates turn 1. That could be it. If he does not have enough fuel, that could be it for Joe in Q1.
I think you're possibly right. There's no warning light on the telemetry, but you know, we'll have to see. If he can squeeze, he's going very slow. He's just keeping out of the way. Oh,
Lajovic on a lap. Sorry, he was just about to lose the rear at turn 1. That scared me for a moment, but let's go on board with him as 90 seconds are about to remain in this session. Surfy has not retired yet, but he is leading the session by a 10th and almost a half. However, Lajovic could knock him off the top of the board. Just sliding through there, that's going to definitely hinder his lap and hinder the way things are going. However, through Sector 1, it's going to be a 27.7 for Lajovic. How about Purple? Don't know how accurate that is, but Lajovic trying everything he can to get himself into Q2. And lagging a little bit on his lap for sure is going to be one misdemeanor. Rowdy also started lap 2. He's 20th on the board, retiring as CJ, so now the top 10 all think they're safe. And one of them might have chose the wrong decision depending on what happens in the next moments. However, less than 60 seconds remain. Lajovic now coming through. Maggots and Beckett's trying to finish this lap off strong. Is he going to be able to get himself out of the bottom 5? He would knock Fire King into the bottom 5. Thrasher, who's also on an out lap. How about Purple to the sector for Lajovic? I don't know if that's anything to do with lag, a game error where it's saying Purple where he's not. No lag to end this lap, at least so far. However, Lajovic coming up to the line now. Gonna complete. Yeah, exactly. However, not too much dirty air in his way. However, coming to the line, what's it gonna be for Lajovic? Lajovic top of the board, 28.2!
Wow.
He surely is on a dry setup with the way that lap has been set. And that's either barely faster or slightly slower than last season's pole time. More drivers are going to come across the line soon. Sam is back out there. Blue Goggy back out there. Thrasher on our lap. Thrasher could not get to the checkered flag. He is just above the bottom 5. He is surely in the risk of elimination. But there are more coming to the line. Rowdy TJ Boy is up next. Rowdy TJ Boy, final 2 corners to chicane. Can he get out of the bottom 5? Rowdy TJ Boy crosses the line. He is out of the bottom, or sorry, he is in. And that knocks Thrasher to the bottom 5s. Next across the line, that'll be Sam Steed, and a 10th improvement. He is trying to keep himself safe. If a couple other drivers continue to improve, he would be out. But however, Riles retiring makes sure he's safe and in. Sam improves on this lap. He will stay 12th, though. Next across the line, that'll be the Ferrari of Fire King. He is invalid, though. That's the problem. So he's out of this qualifying session. Lando's up next, and Lando is right behind Fire King. So Fire King's got to make sure he does not get in the way of Lando whatsoever here, who's coming across the line, trying to make sure both McLarens are out of Q1. Can he get out? Lando is barely in. Next across the lines, Joe. Joe is barely out. Next across the lines, Goggy. Goggy is barely in. Next is Brute, who is invalid. That means Brute is out of Q1 again.
So there you go. There's Q1. Lajovic on top. That
play
was amazing. Who have we got out? Just Riles, Joe, Thrasher, Fire King, and Brute. They're all out.
Riles is a big shock to me. I did not expect him to be out and retire that early either. Either messed up his lap he was trying to go back out there on, maybe just preparing for the race. You know, we've seen drivers get a podium at this track starting outside of the top 10. Sam Steed did it last season. Tomless did it last season as a reserve. The bottom 5 eliminated Riles, Joe, Thrasher, Fire King Brute. Thrasher has not got himself out of the bottom 5 in any of his starts this season at all.
Goodness me. I didn't.
And
I didn't know. I didn't know that. That was. Sorry. That's a shock.
And the
That's quite a
Alphas and
shock.
McLarens sliding through too. Yeah, that time by Logivic, 1,000th faster than the pole time last season. That indicates
1,000
to me
faster.
either his lag had some play to do with it, or either I would say that not only his lag had a part to do with it, but his potential dry setup.
Yeah, I think so. I think. Who would you say is on dry setups? Obviously, Logic, Surfy.
Logivic and Surfy are
Mm,
the only two I can think of right now. Surfy may be, but Surfy may not
yeah,
be.
exactly. I think definitely Logic. There's no way Logic could have done that on a wet setup. No way.
Logivic said he was on a dry setup. That makes sense. If
That
he's
makes
on a dry
sense.
setup and the rest are in wet setups, that is a big difference. He's gonna be good in the first half, but is he gonna be good in the second half of the race at that point? That's the thing, you know, you gotta be fast in the rain
Yeah,
period. And unless
you
he's
do.
done a little bit of mixing up with the setups to where he can still be fast in the wet and he's only hoping for inners, then maybe he'll be okay. But if it's full wet at any point in that 87% chance of rain, it means full wet at the end of the race, then he's not in a good position. I can tell you that.
No, it's very true. He might be running. He's he's doing a very risky strategy. Very
Yeah.
risky strategy. Like you said, it'll be good in the first half. In the second half, it'll be who knows. Who knows?
The Alpha and the
Drivers coming out.
McLarens were barely able to get themselves out of Q1 there, both drivers. That's a shock to me. Blue Goggy, who's had a chance to win this race before, didn't race this race in Season 3, didn't race this race in Season 2. Gotta go all the way back to Season 1. This track is good for him. The previous races here has been good for him, but barely getting out of Q1 is a concern to me. Rowdy finished 4th place in this race in Season 2 after a comeback. You know, is he just trying to sneak his way through every session and just maybe save it for the end? Is he in a wet setup? You know, what's Rowdy on? I'll have to ask him, but you know, those are the concerns I'd be wondering as a driver or just really as a commentator to know. And you know, if you're barely getting through into Q2, you better really be hoping for a crazy Q2. If not, you know, you only sandbag those laps or really just had bad opening laps to set you that far back. You know, I have to wonder what is going on in some of these drivers' minds right now, just as we set ourselves into the opening laps of Q2. Are you expecting to get in? Are you not expecting to get in? Are you prioritizing the race? What's going on, you know? So we'll be able to ask a couple people who got knocked out of Q1 that in a couple of moments, but let's get through with the opening laps to Q2 till then.
Yeah, get there. We'll let the drivers settle in and see what they can do, and then bring some people in. I'm thinking maybe we should bring Riles in.
Maybe,
When,
maybe. Once things clear out of the
if he
track, we'll
wants
have
to,
to.
of course.
Yep. So, starting lap, the first one will be Pluto. And in fact, if he knows anything about alternating setups, he should be the one to go to if you're any other driver in this race. Because, in fact, Pluto won this race last season on an altered setup. He said it was the hardest he's ever driven in the wet. And I have to agree. Because although Sam got the puncture on the last lap due to the random number generator with the tires being on 70-something% and toneless's was slightly higher and he didn't get a puncture, then, you know, he has every reason to be disappointed in this race. You know, I posted on the URS Twitter, biggest heartbreaks in URS, you know, heartbreaking losses, I should say. Which one comes to mind? And one that Sam came to mind for him was this race last season. So he's looking for redemption. I'd say McLaren are looking for redemption too, you know, with how long it's been since they've had a pole, how long it's really been for podiums for them. There's a lot of things McLaren are looking forward to be able to improve on with both their drivers. And in fact, like I said, if anyone knows anything outside the top 10, it's Rowdy, it's Sam. You know, there are a couple of names. Sam put on a setup last minute this race, designed it, and was able to get himself Um, a podium finish from it, leading the race 1.8 seconds heading into that last lap. And, you know, with how much he was pulling on Pluto, maybe it would have come down to these single few corners where Pluto is at right now to finish this lap to decide the finish of that race if there was no puncture. However, Pluto slides just a little bit, now comes across the line. It's a 29.3. Behind him is Joseph, also setting a lap. Joseph's going to go 55 thousandths behind. He's not had a great start to the season, however, that's pretty good from him. Aaron, 28.7. Is he also on a dry setup too? We'll have to question that. CJ next, 2/10 behind. Also behind that is either Chungus starting a lap or completing one. We'll watch him start one though, because that's what he's doing. Chungus has been fast while practicing for this race. It's been incredible. He thought originally this week that he was not going to be on the pace. However, 7th gear through there, shifting up the gears, now down the gears he goes. He's trying to look for every bit of time possible just to find anything to keep that championship lead. He's got a comfortable gap, 17 points, especially after Jeb's penalty last week for a lap 1 collision. You know, he is just looking to extend the gap, continue going. 27.8 in the first sector. He's doing a good job at maximizing this. Now, Brooklyn's left field. And now coming out of left field, he's got a car in front of him. That is an Aston Martin. That is F1 driver. Trying to get a little bit of slipstream from him. Coming across the line was Jeb and Polo. They set laps that are slightly faster than Pluto. However, Jeb now coming up to Maggots, or sorry, Chungus now coming up to Maggots and Beckett's. That's the other Williams. But Chungus, and Alfa Romeo, sorry, that was a Ferrari in the way there, just on the side of the road. However, now coming up, Calm goes fastest. Chungus 4-4 in the middle sector. Next across the line was Blue Goggy. He gets himself to the top 3. Are these dry setups is what I'm wondering, or are these wet setups? That'll be the big question. We'll have to ask a couple drivers who have people in their parties, have people knocked out. However, Chungus heads to the chicane. This will be the big testament to see whether or not the top 3 are in dry setups or not. However, Chungus is coming across the line. He's going to go fastest in Q2. 2 thousandths. He leads this session by.
Brilliant lap from Chungus there, keeping it very, very tight on all the corners, especially going through Maggots and Beckett's. Setting a purple sector. He did 2 purple sectors. He's done very well there. Very, very close between Chungus and Com. You know, like you said, 2 thousandths of a second.
Yeah.
It's it just shows it's so close. I think everyone who's gone in the dry setup, so set in mid to low 28s. I think that's what I'm picking up. I think, but I mean I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
Well, we'll get Thrasher in here for an interview because his session, I would say, ended quite early because he did not get to the start-finish line in time. Thrasher, welcome along.
Thank you.
It is good to have you, but it is always good to have you. Maybe not this early, but yeah, you're out of Q1 again. 3rd time for your 3 starts this season. What is missing to get you into Q2? I mean, I know you said you before this race you switched controllers, tried to find some pace with that. What's going wrong?
Yeah, I didn't really get the clean first lap. There was a bunch of mistakes, and I tried to go out for a second lap, and just a little bit too late. I came in, and I probably would have got it last second, but I had to let Rouse go. I didn't want to hold up his lap, so unlucky. But I do feel good. I feel a bit faster. Just maybe not showing the quality, but hopefully showed in the race.
Yeah, dry setup, wet setup. What are you and your party running? You know, that's something I have to ask because these top 4, top 5-ish drivers, it's hard to tell who is actually on a wet setup, who's on a dry setup. What is your plan?
I don't know about the whole party personally. I know me, I'm on a dry. But I did adjust the wings a little bit. So yeah, it looked like there was a glitch in the weather thing because the picture showed sunny, but at plus 45 it showed 87% chance for rain. So yeah, we don't really know what's gonna happen, but we just, you know, especially me, where you know you got nothing to lose really. So
Yeah.
you know, just do whatever you can to, you know, bringing home at least something, some points. Or at this point, just finished a race, but yeah, I went dry, but I did adjust the wings.
Yeah, just good luck. Just a reminder, your party, make sure you remind Fire King and Brute about the readying up rule. That's all I have for you. Morgan, any questions?
Don't think I've got anything on the mind. Just good luck in the race. Hope we can see a bit more from you in this weekend instead of just currently sitting and watching. Yeah, hopefully we'll see more of you, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good luck.
Thank you. Pluto is on a lap now, and in fact, look at that top 4, 10th and a half, really. Pluto is not safe, so that's why he's had to go for a second run. You can't be guaranteed really on the first one, always, but when you're that far down and still 3 drivers get to set laps, then you really have to go all out in this lap, and that is exactly what I think Pluto is doing here. A couple other drivers who got knocked out included Riles, Joe, Fire King, and Brute, but Pluto is 6/10 up on that in the middle sector. So track evolution, I think that's a big thing right now, especially considering that it's just clear, no clouds, nothing, and you usually expect the time to improve, but if he's improving by 6/10 either his first lap was really bad or there's a lot of track evolution, we'll find out coming to the line, he is 3rd. So, not fastest, but just close.
Yeah, very good luck from Pluto though. Everyone, you were saying nice dry track, no cloud in the sky, nothing. It's track evolution. Has all the grip that all been laid, from other drivers. Giving everyone else a better chance of setting laps.
Yeah.
We've seen some things in the past where sometimes track evolution doesn't really matter.
Yeah, not always.
It's most of the time it does. Sometimes it doesn't at all. Sometimes it's just driver pace, how good they are with the car and things like that.
Well, let's ask Joe for an invite. 3/10 up for Paulo in the first sector.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, Surfing on top of the table. Sorry, couldn't speak there. Actually 1/10
Not by a whole
quicker
lot.
than everyone
Not by a
else.
whole lot either.
I
Yeah.
didn't,
No.
I didn't see that lap even start.
Well, let's invite Joe, and he'll be our last interview. I don't think Riles wanted one. Usually he didn't. Usually he would have joined, but didn't join. So we'll get Joe. Hi, Joe. Gamer tag
Hi, Joe.
change. Little change there with time bottom of the board. Oh, jab 1000th. Not really bottom of the board, but bottom of the board with bottom 5. I have to ask, with you being 17th, are you on a wet setup? Are you on a dry setup? Is being out of Q1 what you expected either?
I'm on a dry setup, and I did not expect to be knocked out, which is why I'm more frustrated in myself, because on my first lap when I spun, I was on a 104.3, which is 2 tenths faster than what than most people were doing in Q1. So I had a good time, which then meant I went on old tyres for the last run, didn't push as hard as what I could. So I thought I'd make it through, and it just wasn't enough.
Morgan, any questions?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's totally blank. Obviously, good luck in the race today.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Like I said to Thrasher, hope we can see a bit more from you from this today. But yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I can move forward. It'll just be about patience and maybe trying something different.
Yeah.
People around me.
Yeah,
Don't do what Lewis Hamilton did or Verstappen did at top.
I won't
Mercedes.
straight
Keep
down
that.
people. They drop.
Yeah. Yep, good luck, Joe.
Thank you.
Well, good luck.
That'll be it for our interviews. Let's see what Logivic can do. Paulo God, 3/10 ahead of the field so far. Lajovic next across the line. He's second. He's right behind him. So now Pluto, who's 7th, is having to go up for a 3rd time because of the risk of him getting knocked out. I did not expect to see that at all. However, also on the risk of getting knocked out currently in this bottom 5 is Sam, who is yet to settle lap. Rowdy, also in the same situation as he was last time. So, Sam, coming through turn 3. He's got the AlphaTauri behind him. That's Joseph, who's just come out of the pit lane, trying to get back out to get to the line in time. He may either be just to the line in time or not. He's got to speed up. Now, Sam, 28-1 in the first sector. He's got to try to get himself through. Getting himself through and knock his teammate out. And if his teammate were to improve, he'd knock Aaron out. F1 driver Pluto also back out there. Calm, Chungus, Jab, Polo, all retired thinking they are safe. Sam now coming through the old start, finish straight. Now, Cop's corner. Trying to perfect the slap. Trying to get himself into Q3. And this would be the 2nd week in a row he would do so. He started 4th last week, Sam did. Beautiful through there so far. 5th gear. Up the gears. He'll go again. Through the straight. DRS applied. Now, it's a 4-7, so that's purple. And that would maybe get himself safe, but this cutoff time is going to be really close. Currently, the cutoff time with Goggi's is 28.8. So Sam is trying to push the limits, trying to get himself out of the relegation zone. Now, Sam, 3rd gear, 4th gear through here to try to avoid spinning. Coming across the line, checkered flag for Lajovic, Serpi, and Joseph. Sam crosses the line, he's still out of qualifying. Next across the line would have been Joseph, but he's out. Rowdy is out as well in the McLaren. Next, it's up to Lando and the rest of the field. Aaron Ocon is going to be the next runner to cross the line, meaning there are 4, 5, 6 people trying to get in. There was an improvement from somebody, I think there. No, sorry, that was Aaron Ocon crashing out of the qualifying session when he was safe. He's out.
I'm at a loss.
Lando's improving right now, and the Aston Martin comes across the line. That's F1 driver. He couldn't improve, but right now he's still in. He would be
coming up to the
out of Aaron, yeah. Lando's lap is one we're on board with to see if he can get through. However, there are 2 drivers in front trying to get through. Pluto is one of them. Pluto comes across the line. He couldn't improve. Mercedes, that is CJ. He couldn't improve to get himself in, and neither could Lando. Goggi is next. However, he's invalidated.
He's invalidated. That's it.
That is.
That is it. Sorry, I was very distant there. I was just watching everything. It's insane. Yeah, everyone finishing their laps now. I'm unlucky for God. He probably could have done. He's still in the into Q3, but I'm pretty sure he could have done could have done better there.
Yeah.
If he didn't invalidate, which is a shame.
Aaron Ocon in a Q3, but he crashed out though, so he won't get to compete, which is unfortunate.
What is that? I didn't know that was a rule. That.
Yeah, if you crash out in Q2 and you're safely in, you won't get to compete in Q3. So that is exactly what happened to Aaron Ocon. Party the bottom 5 includes CJ, Lando, Sam, Joseph, and Rowdy. Joseph frustrated with what happened. He said it's an absolute joke. Never again. So, you know, he is frustrated with getting knocked out. Both McLarens knocked out. Sam knocked out just barely, I would say. Maybe not just barely, but, you know, couldn't get in. Neither could CJ as well. CJ just barely out. CJ's had quite good pace around this track this weekend. However, I think part of the issue from some people is running dry setups and others maybe running wets. That could have been what changed the difference. And yeah, we'll have to get into a McLaren interview soon.
I think we should.
We'll try midway through the session. We'll do that.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
we'll get Lando, then we'll see. I don't think Joseph's in the happiest mood, I will say, so I'm not gonna try him right now.
No.
Don't know if that'd be a good idea, but we do have 9 drivers who are gonna compete. I don't remember the last time this happened, but it has happened at wet races before, where 9 drivers only compete in this session, 10 drivers make it through, but because one driver crashed out, that's why 9 compete. And in fact, F1 driver who's through to Q3 in his return, what's funny about it is the last time, well, actually the first time that it happened where 10 drivers got through based on times, but one crashed out, only 9 could compete. F1 driver was in the race at USA. So I guess that's what makes it ironic. Let's go through our little lineup of drivers here and talk about what they're all looking to achieve and what could happen here in Britain. How about Lajovic here in the Red Bull? 1 Q3 appearance in 7 starts. His best start is 8th. Trying to improve on that. He likely could do it today. However, he has finished in his in 3 of his last 4 starts. Saudi Arabia changed that, and his full-time teammate is back. Surfy in the AlphaTauri this time. A new ride for him in the AlphaTauri. 2 Q3 appearances in 6 starts. Now make it 3. Best start of 3rd. 2 4th-place finishes. And he's never done a URS Britain race. So welcome, Surfy, to Britain. Home race for you. Jab, also next in the list. He's got 16 consecutive Q3 appearances. How about make that the record? That'll be 17 Q3 appearances. 4 front row starts. 2 poles. And he's won in 2 consecutive seasons. But Britain's not been a track he's ever been on the podium at before in this league, so he's also trying for the first time. He got involved in a lap 1 collision last season. Polo God, let's go through this quicker. 3 front row starts, poles in 2 different seasons, and Britain is his 18th race with Haas, and the second time here he's been teammates with Pluto. Blue Goggy, next on our list of people in Q3. As for Goggy, 2 front row starts, 1 pole. He is still looking for that first race win and podium, and Britain is his 23rd race with Alfa Romeo. Com next, he got pole here in the last 2 Britain races. However, Com with a new team for the 2nd race now, 4 front row starts, and he's made Q3 now 4 times out of his last 8 starts. F1 driver in Q3 for the first time. This is F1 driver's first Q3 appearance since season 1. And
Wow.
next on those Q3 appearances include Chungus with a 7th straight, Pluto, who has 7 previous front row starts, 2 poles, and his best start this season is only 6th. However, Chungus is currently on a lap.
He is. He is on a
Coming
lap.
through.
He's just going through.
Yep, go ahead.
Where is he coming through? He's coming through left field onto Woodcote in turn 8. Now coming up onto the old start finish bit on into Cops. I haven't got my spectator menu up. Hang on. No telemetry. There we go. Right. Going through Maggots and Beckett's now. Keeping it very, very tight onto
Invalid. He's invalid.
corners.
Never
Is he
mind.
about-
Yeah, so we're going to go to the next driver then. That is... Who's in front of Com? That is Surfy in the AlphaTauri. This middle sector's a
Surfy.
4-5.
So if you're coming up on the hanger straight, going into Stowe, again, keeping it nice and free into those corners. Coming up to Vale. Is it Vale? Yes, it is Vale. Into turn 17. What's his time looking like? 126, 127, 128. 128.7.
That'll be the benchmark time. Next is Com, who beats that by 1,000th. Next across the line is the Red Bull of Lajovic, who goes faster. 28.6 is currently on provisional pole. However, can the 2 Haas's say something about that? It's Polo God, then Pluto. Polo God, who's won a race to start off already. And now, is he looking for another pole? He's currently going to be on pole. Pluto's next, though. Can Pluto say something about Polo's time? Pluto doesn't, but he's on front row.
Currently a Haas 1-2. Let's see if this sticks. I am already shaping up to be a very good Q3.
There's 2 more coming across the
7
line. It is Jab,
2 more
then
coming across.
F1 driver. Jab across the line. Yes, it's going to be pole again for Jab for now. F1 driver, can he say something? No, but still,
No.
a close qualifying session with 7 drivers who set laps 5/10 within one another. This is going to be close.
This is shaping
love
up to
Britain.
be a very good race.
I love Britain.
See, home track, baby. This brings all the joy.
It really does. It really does. This is such a good track for racing, such a good track for qualifying. You know, everything considered. Jab on pole by 55 thousandths over Polo and then Pluto. Then you go to Lajovic, who's 4th with his best start currently. and Lando, who's in the party now, to give us an interview. Hello, Lando.
Hello, Lando.
Hi. A close qualifying session,
Morning.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit close.
Too close to your liking.
So, I have to ask, both McLarens out of qualifying in Q2. I don't know if you guys are in dry wet setups. If you want to tell us, go ahead. But how are you feeling about the race itself, the strategy you're going to apply, and really your qualifying?
Okay. Alright, we're gonna start off with the basics. Me and I think Rowdy are both on dry setups. I think. I know I am. I don't know about Rowdy. I'm running for once wings that are pretty high. It's 2020. It's 23.
Okay. Interesting.
Strategy. Now, everybody's like, "Oh, Lando, you're stupid for this one." I'm just gonna put it out there. If you start on the hard tire here, you're good as gone. In terms of you're just
Pace.
slow.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be starting on the medium tire. I'm going to softs. I'm gonna stretch the medium as hard as I can, because I know I've practiced every single day. I've done 20-something laps each day, and I'm still crap at this track. This is by far the worst track I have.
Not
And
Brazil
I
either.
don't want to. Yeah, it's not Brazil. Not Brazil.
Oh.
But I wouldn't say it's on me. Well, it is on me because I'm washed. I'm washed now, you know.
Yeah.
But nah. It's just the car. It's not that it's bad. It's not good enough to get up there at
Right.
this track. It's just that's as hard as I could have gone, and I'm quite happy with it. You know, I'm looking for the next race at Portugal too. I'm looking for the bare minimum. And so just making it out of Q1 was nice, and I'm in a decent spot at least to hope something happens, which is Britain. Something always goes catastrophically wrong. He's spinning in Cox on lap 7 last year. Talk about that.
Talk about what, Lando? Nothing. You said nothing there. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So someone else.
Hey, that's all I got for you. Hey, I'll let Morgan
I'm
get.
also extremely sick.
Fair enough. True that. You're not always gonna
I'm
do your
not gonna
best
use
at
the
that point.
sick card though.
Yeah.
I'm just bad here.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I'll let Morgan get an interview with Sam. We'll get him in before anything
Woo,
else.
Yeah! Finally,
Lando.
time McLaren and Alpha get some popularity. Come on
I know,
now.
right?
Popular drivers.
Hey, good luck. Hey, good luck in the race, man. Enjoy. It's gonna
I'll
be
try
fun
to.
watching you come to their
I'll
field.
keep it out.
Fair play. Good luck.
Good luck.
You know, we were talking about McLaren. Let's talk about Alfa Romeo because we were talking about them before Lando came in here with Q2, Q1, everything. I'll let you get an interview with him, Morgan. But till then, we'll have Chungus on board while we watch or while you give an interview with Sam. Morgan,
Yeah.
how about you tackle this one with Sam? Welcome along.
I'll give it a jolly good go. Hi Sam, how are we? Unfortunate for you to come out of qualifying this early. It's yeah. How words can't do it. How do you feel about coming out in Q2? What happened?
I basically messed up turn 3. I don't know if it would have been enough. I'd been at least 2 to 3 tenths closer to the cut-off zone. Like I hit sausage curb and had a massive amount of oversteer. But I knew I was going to be on the back foot going into this race.
Yeah. It's home track. It is difficult. It's a difficult track to get your head round. Moving forward into the race, what are you trying to achieve? I know everyone's trying to achieve the obvious, but what are your goals to achieve at the end of this race?
Points.
It's good achievement to try and strive for. Any sort of range, or just aim to get as many points as you can.
Just got to hope that I don't get taken out lap 1 for the first time in a while, and then we can go from there. And then with the rain at the end, it'll get a bit interesting.
My last thing before we
so
get to anyone else. Just dry, wet setup. What are you on?
Yeah.
Dry.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
dry.
All right.
Dry. Thank you, Ryan.
No problem. Good luck in the race. That's all I gotta say. We're good to the final
only
qualifying
hope.
laps now. Yeah,
Make
Well-
sure to see if I get spun on that one.
I will.
We'll keep an eye out for you.
We will. All right, 90 seconds remain in this qualifying session. Chungus has just set a lap that's fastest out of anybody. And now Calm has started a lap, And now we're up to the rest of the
I think
field.
he has.
which Jab is just backing up the field here, waiting. Is there anybody who could miss the checkered flag? Maybe Goggy? Doubt it, though. We'll see. If he is slow throughout the whole lap, he would, but we'll see what happens. Jab, a little slide across the final corner. He is 93 thousandths down in order to try to get a pole position off of his teammate Chungus. Right now, it's a Williams front row lockout. The last time that happened, you'd have to go back to last season, Abu Dhabi. Round number 15. They also had front row lockout at the opening round. However, here comes Jab, 5th gear, 6th gear, up the gears now. Calm goes fastest by 30 thousandths. He's going to be on provisional pole, so that knocks the Williams 1-2 off the board completely. 58 thousandths now is how much Jab is off of that Sector 1 best that he had on that 3rd best lap. Next across the line is Goggy to start a lap. Everybody gets in their last lap here, but Calm would get himself 3 consecutive poles at this one track. However, we still have more drivers yet to go. 0.6 is that gap. However, Chungus aborting the 2nd lap that he would have gone for. However, it was only the one he went for on the 2nd time around, and that got him 2nd place, front row. It'll be his 9th front row if he keeps it up. However, Jab is still to improve, and he's improving by 17 thousandths. He's got to find time in this final sector in order to beat Chungus, his teammate, and then Comp for pole. Comp is looking for his 3rd pole of Britain, while Jab has never seen pole of Britain. Next across the line would be Surfy, but he's currently aborted this lap and is only going to be a best of 7. Can Jab say something about Comp's pole? He comes across the line. Jab is barely off 8 thousandths. Next is Lojovic. Can Lojovic go pole? No. He is still 6th, though. The Haas boys are next. How about Pluto and Polo? Can Pluto go pole in his home race? Yes, he can! Can Polo go better, though? Polo's improving. Yes, he can! 28-0. He's on top. Next is F1 driver, who would be looking for his 1st ever pole. He's gonna go 5th. He's just off. Next is Goggy. Goggy, who was the last one to come across the line in Singapore, made a last dance at pole. Can he make a last dance at pole here? Coming across the line, Goggy just misses out.
And he takes 2nd. Doggy takes 2nd, so he splits the Hasses. You can breathe now, Ryan. You took all that, but you can breathe now.
Wow.
That was...
It might be a big pole gap, I must say, but it was not without competition from behind. He really probably pushed for a big lap. One of his best circuits, Polo, is on pole. Goggy alongside, then Pluto, who's just behind, taking away that front row lockout from Haas. Calm and Jab complete the top 5. Then it's F1 driver, Chungus, Lojovic, Surfy. And F1 driver starts 6th in this race. And I'd have to look back on his best starts previously, but he's either close or just barely off. I don't have any notes for him for this race because of the fact that it was so unexpected for F1 driver to race this race. It was so unexpected.
Yep, definitely. Really, really unexpected from F1 driver.
Last minute, too.
It's almost like definitely. It's almost like he's driving in blind. Just new track, new to the this sort of race. It's like, ooh, what he can do. Because
now drivers at this point get to see rain, though. That's the thing that they get to see.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely see the build-up of cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's more like well, from the direction the screen is facing, it's more like northwest, so
Yeah.
You'd be surprised an American knows directions, but I do.
No, you're fine. It's all good.
We're now just waiting till
You understand-
12:59 Eastern and 5:59 UK for the drivers to ready up.
We hope they can get it right this time.
Yeah, I know. Well,
'Cause what?
I'm
It's
quite
been like,
interested to see just the patches of rain here from the pictures.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to. I mean, the whole race is going to be so interesting to see. See what different strategies there'll be, things like that. You know, when the rain starts to fall, I think it's going. I would imagine it's going to fall at around lap 20, maybe a bit sooner, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think.
You know, the thing for me that I think about is, like Lando said about the hard tire, he's completely right. But you're going to still have to pit and go to softs, and then you're going to have pace, but are you going to have enough pace and everything else to then go inners and be ahead of everyone else who's on hards trying to extend it? Like, what's the thing? Because the thing is, well, what's the thing you're trying is what I'm trying to say. Because you can go 20 laps in the hards, and if the rain is here by like lap 19, then you're okay, you know? You're not going to be in a bad spot at all.
Yeah, it's very true. It's you know, going from mediums to softs. You've got it's going to be interesting to see what the drivers do when they get onto the soft tires. See how far they can stretch it. If that's even
two,
if the rain comes at
1.
all. Have we done it? Is it?
We have.
Oh my
We have
God.
done it without issue for the first week.
Oh,
It's a miracle. No one,
Congratulations to everyone. Yeah,
hey,
that's-
no one gets a 20-second penalty. No one gets anything along that sort. So, before anything else goes on, let me just go over the strategy with you, and we'll talk anything later on when it comes to pit stop window as to what we expect. The pit stop strategy here, you're either going to go medium or medium hard medium. That's in a regular circumstance. This is completely different now that you got rain added toward the end of the race. Now that you got rain added toward the end of the race, your mediums that you're expecting to go is probably 10, 14, maybe at a stretch 15 laps. I don't think it'll be that long, but you're really stretching it to that point in wearing the tires and hoping to not get a puncture. The max I say you can go on hards is 20, but the game tells you should pit around 14 at that point.
yeah.
As for the softs, anywhere from 4 to 7 laps is accurate. Maybe 8 if you're extending, but yeah, let's see what everyone is on tire-wise before we go over our two favorites. So you have Goggy in the top, the only driver in the top 10, in fact, on mediums. Everyone else on hards. CJ on mediums, Rowdy on mediums, Fire King on mediums, the rest of the drivers on hards. So, you know, now that the drivers had to think about their strategies, now that the drivers have time to take a deep breath, the commentators had a chance to take a deep breath, you are able to see what the drivers are on, what their plan is, what they mess with fuel, you know, and get themselves situated for this kind of event where you have rain at the end of the race and, you know, a dry period onwards. And Lando said he was going to start in mediums, but he's now on hards, so I'm interested to see how that goes. Two favorites here. Let's make this quick. Polo God has been fast all weekend when practicing for this race, and in fact, even Chungus said it, even Jab said it, even everyone else who races with Polo has said that this is one of his best circuits, and even Polo admitted it himself. It is one of his best circuits. Pulled by that much of a margin shows to you that it is one of his best circuits. Right car or not, you make the argument that you want to make. But he leads us on the front row of the grid, and compared to how his starts were in the previous, I would say, 2-3 races, he's got to get a good start off the line if he wants to keep where he's at. And if he doesn't, then big issue from there. The back of the grid, I'm looking at CJ because CJ is, well, this is more midfield. I'm looking at CJ. And here's why. Good pace throughout the weekend. Good pace when practicing. Good pace in the dry. I don't know what it's like in the wet, though. He starts in the mediums. This is why the strategy makes it very interesting. What's he going to do from these mediums? Or is he expecting the rain early and is the strategy going to work? We'll have to find out. And the thing with CJ, though, with these mediums, is a matter of pace. Two favorites quickly. I did not give you much time.
You didn't give me enough time there. I'm just going to say I'm looking out for Thrasher.
Just two.
I think he's got a lot more potential. And who else? Surfy, I think. Surfy seems like he can do very well around this track. Here we go.
Now
What's
we are
going on?
waiting on the 5 red lights and the drivers to rev it up for the British Grand Prix here. We're revving it up. And it's lights out, and away we go. Pluto got off the line decent. Goggy's covering Polo already, and Goggy's gonna take the lead of the British Grand Prix. Side by side, the two teammates into turn one. They're going wheel to wheel. They were previous teammates here, and now they're gonna go out side by side into turn three with Pluto going ahead. He pushes him out.
Common's off. Common's off. It looks like he's out. He saw. Oh, he's.
Oh, Polo gets contact with Jab, and now Chungus are on the outside. It's disaster for Polo. First to fifth, and now F1 driver on the outside line already. Off the track goes the McLaren. Now F1 driver on the outside line of Polo. What a stinker of a start. Now we're on the outside. He's trying. These two push each other to the limit, and now F1 driver ahead. Unbelievable. Rowdy also down the order there. Something happened to him on the start. And as the two teammates at Ferrari go side by side, it's Aaron going ahead. Really bold from Pluto. Really bold from the start, pushing his teammate out. That is quite, I mean, yes, maybe Pluto had the line, but that is questionable considering it's two teammates.
Yeah, two teammates between going into turn one. I didn't fully see who had the right line, but it's always two teammates when they battle like that, and one comes out, you know, not as good, but you know, it's happened. We'll see what happens in the rest of the race. Things that have happened, I would say, is Tom has been disqualified. You didn't see that.
I think there's some damage from a couple of drivers who are pitting. A Surfy, one of them, Brute, one of them, Thrasher and Rowdy. That's unfortunate for the race.
No, they're just changing tyres. Oh no. Aston Martin is changing. Bunch is changing. Wing, McLaren, Rowdy, and that's
We
it.
got a battle for 11th place, CJ down the inside of Aaron Ocon, who's trying this already by Sector 2. CJ's got the move done, and we spoke about Sam with his lap 1 collisions. Although Joseph in that pack of cars behind him is 2 seconds off, you know, the thing with Sam is he's avoided a lap 1 collision. So there you go.
He said what he wanted to achieve, and he's done it. Go through cups.
They're just all following each other simply in this train. Joseph losing a bit of time, just trying to take it careful. Sam eager to get past. We got a spin up at the front of the field. That's F1 driver around, and now he's outside the top 5 due to that. And Lojovic on the back of Polo God cannot get through. You know Polo God, after that start, is going to be fuming. You know, I can make the argument that Polo could have backed out, but the thing is, it's two teammates and it's the opening lap. They're trying to get the edge on each other. And I think Pluto has felt that Polo's been too fast for that Haas, regardless of being teammates. So I think that's where a little bit of the frustration kind of comes in with them. And I think why Joseph's been a little bit slower on the opening laps has been due to that foaming damage, I think, on the left end play. I see it now. It's more visible. So that is why Sam will be eager to get by at any moment. Positions gained, positions lost. Let's look at it. 10 places for Joe Hansel. Up to 7th already. What a great start from him. And not only that, 6 for Fire King, 4 for Riles, 5 for Joseph, 3 for Sam, and 3 for Chungus as well. Good start from him.
Yeah, very
Down the
very
inside.
good. More than... Oh,
CJ on Sam.
more action already.
Yep, they're going to be side by side in the left field. However, Sam's going to stay ahead. No contest there. But the front,
Nope.
I'd say the front 6 really are all on this train except for Goggy, who's leading and broken them out of it. You know, Pluto's got company here now that he's in the Haas. Jab, and Chungus, and Polo, and Lojovic. Lojovic's still on this train after a brilliant start. CJ and Sam. Sam's off. What happened to Sam? He's had issues to start this race. I don't know if he has damage. He does. He's got the right end plate. So it wasn't the opening lap, but it was the opening laps. Joseph,
let's say.
yeah, gets overtaken by CJ in the process as well. So it's gone disastrous for Sam and Joseph. Sam is coming in, and he almost sped. Aaron did though.
On speeding in the pit.
Yep. And Fire King as well, by the way. He was our first track limit penalty at this race.
Yeah. saw that. Very unfortunate. Can we just say, Goggy has put up a very good lead.
He
He's
has.
leading 2.4 seconds behind Pluto. In front of Pluto, I should say.
He is definitely, at this point though, hoping for the rain to come early with him being on the mediums. Maybe it happens,
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't.
We'll have to see, won't we? I mean, it's still pretty dry currently. Surfy's got
Yellow
3
flags,
seconds.
that's...
And
yep,
yellow flags as well.
That's Brute. That's Brute around in the Aston Martin. The bottom of the field.
Brute spinning the Sam spinning back out just onto Village.
Mediums he's on, so he's probably going to pit around lap 18 at that point. Whether it actually does rain or not. It looks like it will, but hey, you never know. Things have happened to prevent that before, and that lead from Goggy has been chunked down a little bit. Yellow flag, Zedis, F1 driver again around in the Aston Martin. The Aston Martins both having trouble, but at 2 ends of the racetrack. 2 separate ends, in fact. Lando and Fire King. Lando and Fire King, who collided in F2 to end off 2022. Goes side by side. Lando ahead. Riles sticking on Joseph. So yeah, there you have it.
There you go.
As much of a pain it is for Joseph to have front wing damage, he's trying to hold it out.
Where is he's currently 10th, isn't he? Yeah. He's doing well to keep Riles and Lando behind. Even with wing damage, you know.
Jab behind Pluto, but Pluto's straight line speed just eliminates that DRS being in play. Wow. It shocks me. It shocks me how fast that Haas is in a straight line. It's so broken.
Oh, it just runs away.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed. And I really am. I really am amazed because you'd expect the Williams, at least from real life, to be the pace of the Haas, if not slightly slower, because they always have good straight line speed, so that just shocks me. Aaron Ocon, not so happy with Fire King to start off, and Brute around again at that same section for him.
Something wrong with the setup, I think. It seems to be very loose on the rear.
So,
because that's one of those corners, isn't it?
If you have a mistake with the tire pressures, that's exactly one of the corners that I was speaking about, where people could struggle. And the thing I'm interested in this little train up here is URS. Worst on the URS Polo got. So the thing I will mention with URS is the fact that you gain 25 to 30% back in the pit lane, considering how long of a pit lane it is. So if you're gonna use your URS before you pit, well, I should say, if you're gonna pit anytime soon, whether it be from the softs, and mediums, hards, whatever tire you choose to go on, right? You want to use at least 30% URS on that out lap, or in lap, I should say. So there you go. Lando and Joseph side by side. Lando on the inside line. Joseph trying to cut back this time, but can't get the move done. It's gonna be Lando ahead, and Lando also gets DRS in the car in front, which is Riles.
Brilliant racing by Lando, keeping it behind to get the DRS to then zoom in front of Joseph, just so we can get that extra speed. Brilliant.
And
then he's got
that's F1 driver again.
He's done it again.
Yeah. That's the 3rd time now, and he's still in the... Well, he was in the points, but now he's not. I was going to say, one Ferrari there, Fire King, he got a penalty. The other one got the fastest lap. That's Aaron Ocon.
No, he's got fastest lap. Oh, good on Aaron. He's doing well.
He's back in the pack, though. He had trouble at the beginning, but there you go. There's that.
Shows potential, even in the...
Yeah. Definitely. Positions trade again. F1 driver Orlando. This is 10th place. These two shared a podium, in fact, in the USA race, which was wet back in round number 2 of the league, but F1 driver gets back ahead. It shows he's got
what's going to
happen. Pace, but he just mistakes.
It's silly mistakes going to Maggots and Beckett's and Cops. Maggots and Beckett's. There is not favourite corners, are there?
In the penultimate corner and last corner, just on traction. It's horrible.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. Brute being one of them, and I understand where Brute comes from, because if you're just not careful on traction there, you do what he did, you spin around. Yellow flags again.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Aaron Ocon. It is.
Aaron,
He's
yeah,
around
Aaron is
again.
fun.
However, however, if we go back to the front of the pack, Goggy's lead is shrunk down to 1.9 now, and based on what I saw with the cloud cover and the patches of weather, the rain is the last two patches, the cloudiness is the previous two patches before that, so it's going to get cloudy before it rains from the way I understand things.
Yeah, you're probably right. 'Cause it's looking rather grey, isn't it? I mean, you've
It
still got
is.
those blue patches, but it's getting more overcast now.
Sent that in the commentary chat for you to look at, but F1 driver is making a move on GSR Riles now, pinching him to the inside. Oh, getting a little bit squirrely there with both drivers, but F1 driver getting ahead. F1 driver not made a start since round number 6, Abu Dhabi Season 1. He's still showing as a reserve this time around that he's still got it in him.
Sorry, I wasn't. Sorry. Yeah. No, I've lost it. It's gone. Sorry, continue. Sorry, it's gone. Gone. Good.
Well, I will say the two teammates now are still trying to catch down Pluto. And behind the two teammates is Polo, who, again, as I'm going to mention it, had the lap one skirmish, I would call it, with Pluto, resulting in him being that far back. That's exactly what makes a difference. You know, if you're caught in dirty air, you might not even have pace. And that's exactly why Pluto was so eager to get that position on that opening lap.
Yeah.
He knows that if he puts Polo in a dirty air, whether it's his teammate or not, Polo's going to be hard to recover. He's not that fast to recover, but, you know, if he's in clean air, he's got a fast car, you put him in dirty air, he's under pressure, and that changes the whole swing of things. And he has to fight through jab and chungus to catch him. So that's exactly what could happen.
Yeah. With
Yellow flags.
yellow flags. That'll
Driver
be
again?
F1 driver again.
Has he got front wing damage this time? I don't see any.
I'm not sure. Have a look.
I think he's good on the front wing, actually, but he just keeps spinning at that same corner. Getting on the power too early, you know, just curbs. What is it for F1 driver? It's causing him to spin in that same corner. And those mediums, by the way, are wearing for Goggy 1.7 seconds. His lead has been cut down to. That's 2/10 within the last couple of laps that lead has changed. That is not good for Goggy's race, considering these guys are following one another along with DRS in play, battling in play, and they're still catching Goggy. So that is the fear if I'm him right now. Speaking of fear, F1 driver has lost another place. Surfy gets by him, and in fact, Surfy is a part of the time penalty club with Fire King and Aaron Ocon. However, his and Fire King's are both for track limits.
Yeah, it's very true. That'll be F1 driver again, spinning.
This race is going down the drain. It's
Really
unfortunate. He
is.
had tons of pace, I would say.
Yeah, sometimes the setup doesn't always match what it's going to be in the race.
10 seconds from the game. There you go. That's exactly what that is. Logivic now in DRS and in the back. Apollo, who's looking for a move. Maybe a turn 3, maybe a turn 4. Couldn't do anything about it that time. However, he's much closer around this section of the track than the beginning parts. However, cannot get anywhere close. Now, look at the lead. 1.1. Goggy, leading this race, is losing pace. And almost has the 3, well, I would not say the 3. I'd say the 5 behind him in DRS. That is close. F1 driver run again.
There's going to be a lot going on in Goggy's mind currently. You know, he's thinking, should he? I mean, you've no idea what's going on in his mind. It's
Thrasher 3
there's
seconds.
so much. Yes, Thrasher 3 seconds. Yep. You know, he's got 5 cars behind him who are on tyres that are warming up more every single lap.
Exactly.
And
And look at this.
Lou Goggy, you know, he's 6/10 between him and second place now. The gap has decreased by half a second. Yeah, half a second.
Well, nice battle with Rowdy and Sam Steed there at the back end of the grid. They both had to pit on the opening laps, I should say, for front wing damage and collisions, but Pluto is now keeping it much closer to Blue Goggy, who has shrunk the lead down almost nearly a second within one lap. And that's the Aston Martin around once again. However, Pluto, DRS this time, tons more straight line speed, not close enough for a move this time around. And F1 driver has just gone to the pit lane, either rear wing damage or given up to this race for him. Sam C down the inside of Rowdy. TJ Boy, though, this is going to be side by side. Rowdy knew he had to back out right there, but the lead has changed hands because Blue Goggy is pitted.
Blue Goggy in the pit. I think he said he's had enough on those medium tyres. He's going to go on to the hards now, I think. He's
Either hards or softs.
Either hards or soft. Maybe softs, I think, because we're nearly halfway through the race now. Once again, he's on mediums. Going on another set of mediums.
Fair. Joe Hansel. A time penalty for him. He's right behind this pack of cars, 7 seconds behind. Maybe not right behind, but right behind position-wise. And he has now got a 3-second time penalty. That'll hinder his race, where Blue Goggy's going to come out of the pit lane. Should be behind Joseph and ahead of Surfy. It will be. Fair play to Goggy, though, for realizing when he was slow enough to head to the pit lane and not waste any more time there, because he was just losing time to the guys behind who are on hard tires, which are now coming to life.
Yeah, it's fair play to Goggy. He had a good run of those medium tires, but he said everyone needs to realise in the end that sometimes it's better just to know when you are slow and you need to change for new tires. He's done well there. He's done well to keep first for that length on those tires.
Yeah, I mean, considering how many times he's been first and bottled the lead or whatever the case is, it's a good thing to keep it for that long. And I don't mean that with any harm intended, but it's true. There's been a lot of times where he's been first and just bottled it, not been his day, whatever, you know. And that time he probably gained a lot of data on those mediums to where he said, "I'll go mediums again." And in fact, I will tell you right now that awareness from Goggy is very crucial for the next half of this race, which we're about to come upon. And Blue Goggy, by the way, with where this pit window is, you look at 28 to 30 seconds for the pit stop window. Goggy is 28.8 seconds behind the leader. So it's not horrible with where he's at, but you know, he has to bet on the top 6, if not the others, pitting again. And he's going to have that with CJ and Fire King. But is he going to have that with the rest of the hard runners is the big question.
Exactly. You just don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know what's going to happen. When does it's the fact that when does everyone from the top 5 go into pit? Do they all go in at the same time, or do they go in systematically one by one? You just don't know. It could all work out in Goggy's favour. You know, everyone pitting at the same time gives Goggy a chance to, you know, give a bit of a lead if they all go in. You just don't know.
And you don't know if the rain doesn't come to the last laps to where he's just able to, you know, hold on with going medium. You know, and is the game going to allow him to go to medium with that? I don't know. That's the thing that we'll have to also question ourselves in. However, Goggy being just behind Joseph now, he's behind a driver with front wing damage, and, you know, we saw this with Brazil, with Goggy being behind Joseph, just not being patient. However, he chose the right time, waited, realized, look, I can stay behind him for a little bit, but I can't stay behind him for long. And he learned from his mistake in Brazil from spinning Joseph to where he's got by him now, and his run is now up for Fire King for 10th place.
Yeah, and it's set to fastest lap as well, 1:31.9. You know, the medium tire will help him out.
Yeah.
With pace and everything, and you know, even with just normal racing between him and Joseph, you know, like you said, he thought about previous races, and he raced fair. He always does, but you know, you could see that there was concentration for what he was doing, going through those final corners through Stowe. Yeah, keeps it clean, and that's what you want. Another 3 seconds per hour in there, track limits.
It's just trouble to his race. He's just trying to get it probably to the pit window. It's just getting cloudier and cloudier, but Again, not enough for inners. However, hard runners are pitting. Is Chungus going to get in under 50 or under 37? Yes, he does. Gets into the pit lane at a decent rate. Ludwig, Chungus, Pluto, those guys are in. Do any of the hard runners who stayed out, including Jeb and Polo, extend for longer? They were able to go 13 laps. This is where everyone else will probably pit. And CJ is one of them on the mediums. This will be interesting to see where they come out with Goggy, too. We'll be watching this one.
King also comes in on the mediums. He put those mediums out for a long time.
There you go, fastest lap from Goggy. Pluto is coming out of the pit lane now. Goggy coming out of the turn 1 corner now. And he is ahead of Pluto. And he's ahead by a decent bit. By over a second. And in fact, no DRS to play for this time at Pluto. Having to warm up those tires. Goggy still being on the pace on his run to win a first race in URS. This is going to be impressive if he can do it. But however, those hard runners have to stay out for longer. And they have to make sure they are not wasting their tires. Riles, Joe, Lando, all people who are having to take a bet on just something are smart here by still staying out. Those hards set a maximum of 20, but I don't know how much they're wearing right now with these drivers. You know, how much have they used the battery? How much have they not? Have they even touched the battery? You know, you look at the battery with 3rd through 5th compared to the battery from 1st and 2nd. Jab pits now. Jab used a lot of battery that lap to save ERS in the pit lane. We back up to around 80 when he comes out, but Polo stays out. Joe is in. Now it's next up to Riles and Lando before this rain comes, which should be likely the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's
Riles
a
in.
good guess.
Lando stays out. Polo stays out. The other 3 are in. So that'll guarantee Goggy another position. 2 seconds, that gap with Goggy over Pluto. You could really say this race was definitely one at the start where Goggy took the lead. I know it ain't over yet, but you could say that's where it could be won with this race. But you know where it also could be won with these rain patches still to come. Joe, Riles coming out of the pit lane now. This will be 9th place for them. 9th and 10th. Oh, and look at this. Jab overtook Pluto. We did not catch that, but Pluto's trying to re-overtake him here for a 4th position. Net P2, his teammates following. Here's Chungus. Is he going to go down the inside? Yes, he is, but he thought about it. He had to back out right there with Pluto.
Thought there was going to be contact between Pluto and Chungus there.
On the run to Cop's corner. Chungus trying to follow Pluto once again, but is not close enough. And the least amount on the battery is Chungus, the most amount there being Pluto, so that is what is at stake there between those drivers. Lando, Polo. Polo, God stays out. Lando is going to either stay out or pit. We'll find out this time. 1.4 that gap. You can see Pluto pushing the gain on Goggy. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. Polo, I think he's waiting for the rain, you know. It's a fair strategy, you know. If you can keep those hard tyres rolling, he can achieve what he wants to achieve, you know, if the rain does come.
Let us sing that again. Fire King penalty. Go ahead. I have to be right back.
Fire King. Yeah. Lando also stays out. He's on still on some 16-lap old hard tyres, so he's waiting for the rain also. I would imagine. It just seems like the logical thing for them to, like I said, they can keep their tyres strong enough for the rain to come, then they've aced their strategy. So, yeah, yeah. Right. He's gone, okay. So, on board with Polo through to the, through where it is. So, yeah, into Vale. So much going on. There's a battle for 11th between GSR Riles and Sam. Going into cops. Ooh, very close between Riles and Sam there.
However, this net lead is going to be a big focus. Hold on, Morgan. Pluto on the back of Gagi. Is he waiting for a move, or is he going to go for the move? No. Gagi still been holding them off, and Lando and Paulo still stay out, waiting for this rain to come down. I don't see any rain. Not yet.
I thought I saw a drop at one point, but I think it was just my imagination.
Gagi closing Pluto in here. Heading into turn 3. Pluto giving him the pressure. The pressure is really on for Gagi, who has yet to win a URS race, come up short, not even been on the podium. He's looking for that today. The Alfa Romeo finished on the podium last season in this race. That was toneless death. However, Gagi, who missed the race last season, that was his reserve driver. Gagi's trying to do what Toneless did and get on the podium, but however, he's leading Pluto this time. And in fact, the cars, maybe not the drivers, the cars that were on the podium in last season's race are running second, third, fourth, or you could say first, second, third if you want to go the exact order. Pluto on the back of Gagi now, just waiting Pop's corner here, waiting for the right opportunity. Gagi's still holding on though, in the dirty air. Riles and Sam going side by side. Sam having to back out right there with Riles. However, Maggots and Beckett's still needs another opportunity on the hanger straight for Pluto to get DRS, and Gagi just to pull away coming out of Maggots and Beckett's 4/10 that gap. However, the overtake button's engaged and Pluto's using it. Pluto's using it down the hanger straight to try to pass Gagi. He's going to pull to the right side, going to go down the inside for the move. He gets it done. Is Gagi going to switch it back? No, he can't. He's not close enough. He can't try a late one either.
Racing.
2.3 to Lando, 2.1. Lando's tires are wearing down, but this is Lando's only hope at this point pace-wise for a podium. Gagi still in the back of Pluto, still close. Chung is following suit. When does the rain hit? The rain was in the last 2 patches on the screen. However, it has still not arrived yet. Soft tires for Brute, soft tires for Aaron, by the way.
Have they gone on? Ooh, hang on. Tires.
DRS for Gagi now. On Pluto. Pluto with more battery to spare. That's going to hold him in front of Gagi. Gagi's still setting personal best in the first sector, though. That gap with Paulo to Lando is an extremely big gap. 21 seconds. If he were to stay out and make it this far, that would be impressive.
I'm not impressed by Paulo. You know, if he's keeping them tires rolling, he's doing very well with them.
Lando pulling out of the way there. Not trying to get in the way of this battle here for the top 5. Lajovic still to follow as well. Lajovic having a good day. His best result 6th. He could still better that with the way this race is going. Does Polo pit now? No, he stays out. However, Chungus is on the back of Gagi as Brute takes the fastest lap. Chungus is trying to go through. He's going to get through this time, but can he clear him by Stowe Corner? Yes, he does. Gagi just getting swarmed up on the older tires. Had the 2-second lead. He's just falling down the order now.
Really unfortunate for Gagi. You know, he's trying to keep as close as he can, but his
Lando speeding.
tires just seem to.
He's got a puncture. That is why Lando pulled out of the way. 2 McLarens getting a puncture in this race 2 seasons in a row.
So could it be possible that Polo can also get a puncture at this time as well?
We'll have to watch if that gap goes down at all either. Yeah, exactly. That will be the thing we'll have to watch. If that gap goes down between them. Gagi is still staying ahead of Jab and Lajovic. Impressively, he cannot do this by the end of Brazil, but he is staying in this DRS train with 6 laps remaining in the next couple of laps. I almost wanted to say next time, but it wasn't. It was not the case. It's I think it's at 7 laps right now. 7, 8.
Yeah, 7 laps remaining.
Yeah.
And yet, still no rain. Still no rain.
Keeping it clean too. Only 1 DNF, 1 disqualification. That was due to a game glitch, but a lot of the drivers have kept it clean today. F1 driver left the server after he retired from the race.
Yeah.
Behind that, Jab and Gagi now going to go wheel to wheel. Gagi is going to try to stay ahead. Jabber on the outside line, though. Can he pull it off? He's off the track. Did Jab overtake off track, though?
That's a very good question there, Ryan. I'm not sure. I would say Jab overtook off track. There's rain. There's rain.
There you go. Here it comes. Just slightly, you can see it. Now it's starting. Is it enough for inners? And is Polo God's strategy gonna work out here? The problem for Polo, is if he ends up pitting, he's surely gonna have to pit in this race unless the game doesn't allow him to with there being wet running. Joseph pits, by the way, on 19 lap hards and 15 lap mediums for Sam. They both pit. But if it doesn't get wet enough for inners at all, is Polo still required a mandatory pit stop or not? And the thing is, if he is and the rest don't pit, then Polo would not finish in the top 5. That's big.
That is a very good point, Ryan. I have a feeling it would be if you pit for wet or inters, it will class as a pit stop. But it's a very good question.
It would, but if he stays out is the big question with it. DRS disabled. Polo God's coming in. This is big with his lead. 18 seconds for Polo. Pluto and Chungus now about to go wheel to wheel. Are they going to do it in a stow? No! Oh, he's right in the back of him. He taps the rear. Now they're troubling in the pit lane. Does anybody be bold and stay out? He's running the back of him in the pit lane. I don't think anyone's going to stay out at this point. The track is getting wet, but, you know, with his lead, Polo God, brilliant strategy from Polo there. Brilliant.
Really
How
good.
was he able to pull that off is my question. 20 laps in the mediums. He timed that perfect. He timed that perfect.
He really did.
Regardless of pace, he was in that train. He really didn't have any pace. He knew he had to try something different, but yeah. Everybody on the inners. And this track is soaked. Absolutely soaked. Jab, by the way, with that double stack, he actually resulted in being behind Lodgevic and Goggy. And in fact, by the way, Pluto got jumped by Chungus after the contact in the pit lane between them.
What?
Yeah, the contact in the pit lane resulted in Chungus getting ahead of Pluto.
Oh my god.
With inner conditions, really all Polo God has to do is survive. He's got a 17-second lead, and if this were to stay the way it is, we would see the largest margin of victory in URS, which is just unthinkable right now.
Joseph has done quite well. He came
he
in
was
a
able
lot
to stretch
early.
it. He went with front wing damage. Fair play to him. Did not think that would happen. Drivers just have to keep it on track. The drivers have to figure out, is it going to be enough for wets by the end of this thing? Do I even go for wets? You know, if that's the case, that will be a big question.
Ooh, bit of a twitch from Joseph going through Woodcote.
CJ in the back, yeah. You're right about that. CJ gets through. And ahead of that, Lodgevic on the back of Goggy. Two of the youngest drivers in URS battling it out to try to take both their first podiums. Which way does Lodgevic go? He's down the inside this time. He's trying to get through and catch Pluto and Chungus. Cannot do it there. However, he's thinking about the switchback on Goggy. Does he have enough momentum? Can't get through, but he taps the back of him. They're side by side. Lodgevic goes off the road. He's going to have to let him back through, I think. Yeah, he's going to have to. He really did overtake off track. I'm surprised if the game doesn't penalize him for it. I'd be surprised. Joseph, 3 second right there. That will hinder his race.
That was a risky move from Lodgevic, and I really don't think that's going to pay off.
I don't think that'll be looked at in the storage office, at least. Unless he gives it back. He gives it back now. Smart move. Smart move. Gave it back now instead of paying a price after. That is smart.
Yeah,
He
smart.
thought, look, I overtook off track. I hit the back of him. I'm not going to get the position that way. Or at least I don't want to get penalized. Either one.
Yeah.
Both are probably in his mind. With Jab following suit, too.
Polo God still with a 17-second lead.
That's unthinkable. Rowdy, penalty for him. He's 16th in this race right now. And still, you think about the fact that a safety car could happen. Oh boy, would Polo not want that.
Oh, I think that would really ruin this day.
Aaron, crash for your cousin. No, don't do it, but yeah.
Take one for the team.
No, I'm kidding. Don't do it. But you know, it would be ironic if that were to be the case. It would be very ironic. But anyway, Gagi losing more time to Pluto in front with Logivic following suit, trying to go down the inside here and trying to re-overtake at the corner where he overtook off track a moment ago. He's trying to get back by through and can't do it this time. Holding the overtake button down as Logivic, trying to find more momentum, more time. Same with Gagi right there. 40% on that battery. Just a lot of spray here. You can see Logivic just sliding the rears.
It's so tricky to see for the drivers.
Polo God should just like slide across the line at this point. Like he should just like back off and then do a 360 and then like go across the line. That'd be a stellar like type of
start
win. Yeah, he should do it. If Sam or Joe or anyone in that party with Polo hears this, yeah, tell him he should do it. Yellow flags. That is Brew Gorgon. He is off the road, and that is a bit of front wing damage toward his race, and he's now picked up a 3-second time penalty in the process of that. Now Logivic is on the back of Gagi using a bit of overtake. You don't want to use overtake in the wrong section of the track. That could really slide you to the rear and maybe cost you a better front wing.
Here we go.
I must say, too, Mercedes, who have only had a total of 1 point in the last 6 races, they're both in the points with both cars right now. Yellow flags.
Yellow
That's
flag,
an Alfa
6-1.
Romeo. That is
Sam.
Sam. Sorry, I thought that was Gagi for a moment, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
Joseph also sliding too, by the way. He's aquaplaning. Logivic on Gagi. Logivic's going to go around the outside here in sector 3. Can he pull it off? Gagi on the inside line. Logivic going to have to switch this one back in order to get the move done. Right side this time with 3 laps remaining. Oh, they touch. Gagi forces him out wide.
Close.
They go side by side. Logivic on the inside line now. Can he go ahead? He does. He goes through.
Brilliant move by Logivic there. Really, really good move.
But can Gagi keep this extraordinary racing back at it? No, just not close enough with Jab close to him.
Not close enough.
Logivic is not. Yeah, I was gonna say Logivic is not close enough for a podium either, unless anything happens in the top 3.
This is some brilliant racing between Logivic and Blue Goggy. They're so, like you said, they're young drivers, but they're so down to earth. You know, they're keeping their distance, yet being aggressive at the same time. It's what you want in driving, isn't it? It's that sense of wanting to win, wanting to get the place, but also being respectful at the same time.
Right.
It's brilliant. Really,
And
really good racing.
These 2 young kids have been, I would say, I wouldn't say shattered being the right word, but criticized roughly for the way they've raced others before, and now they've raced each other pretty respectfully.
Yeah.
Reason to say.
Like,
And now he's got
Sorry.
Jab behind, Jab going in front, side by side there on the run to Stowe. Jab holding the inside line, pinching just a little as we come to the penultimate lap. Jab now around the outside, gonna switch to the inside. Ooh, side by side, they almost touch. However, Gagi will stay ahead.
They did. I thought they looked like they did touch. Rear wheels. Oh, not rear wheels. Or one rear and one front. Both in contact. I heard a clunk. Logic is pulling away now. Yes, I did
Looking
take
back now at the 4th places, you know, from Britain before. Kostag last season hadn't won a race. Rowdy hadn't got a podium, hadn't won a race. And you go back to Britain, Kostag in season 1, at the time hadn't had a podium first start, hadn't won a race. Logivic 4th place right now, hadn't got a podium, hadn't won a race. And, you know, him and Gagi both battling it out for their first podium to catch Pluto. Is there enough time to do so? You know, Logivic is bringing this gap down a little bit. If he's at full push, he might be able to do it. Brew Gorgon's out of this race. That will not bring out a safety car, though.
No,
That's both
it's too
Astons
late in the
out.
race. Really unlucky for Aston Martin this race. It's really unlucky. Especially with another 3 seconds.
You know, I spoke about Logivic. Is he close enough? No, I don't think so. But if he gains enough in this last lap and Pluto loses time, it could get close. But he's just not close enough to say anything. However, Is Jab close enough to make a move once again in the same corner on Gagi? He's going to fake him right there around the outside this time. Gagi trying to stay ahead. Now Jab's going to have to go for the switchback. Joe lags out on the last lap.
Hang on.
Inside line for Jab. Gagi giving him the space. Jab around the outside. They almost touch wheels. Jab getting pinched here. Around the outside, he slides. And Gagi remains in 5th place. Joe will need an invite back.
Yeah, I've done that. Done it.
He wants to remain 7th. You know, you never know what could happen with an AI car. I can tell you that right now.
Very true. I mean, he's got no one around, so I think he will remain in 7th on the last lap.
Pluto struggling with his Haas now. You see Lojevic's on the brink of getting within 2 seconds. He's just not close enough. But if Pluto keeps losing a lot of time, let alone Chungus too, then you might have Lojevic close within a second by the last sector. Will he be able to close within to overtake him though? Probably not.
Probably not. I don't think Logivic is close enough for that.
Ironic.
Which is a shame.
Polo coming up to lap his cousin in this race after all that's happened. Jab is not close enough to Gagi for an overtake just yet. We're going to switch back to the race winner though. My goodness. What a strategy from Polo God. What a strategy. Sticking those hards out 20 laps, waiting for the rain. And at one of his best circuits, to try to gain back that championship lead over Chungus, he's going to start this one off by winning the British Grand Prix. Polo God, with an amazing strategy, wins it. And he gets the largest margin of victory in URS history today. His 2nd win in the league. And he did it with an extraordinary strategy. Chungus comes home 2nd to make it 6 consecutive podiums. Pluto on the podium for the first time this season. Lojevic. Joe Hansel's out! Joe Hansel's out! In 7th place! Something has happened to his race! Did the AI retire him? Is it gonna cross the line? He does cross the line, but the car puts him 10th place. Oh boy, how things have changed there.
That is
Lojevic
so unlucky.
just short of a podium. Gagi another top 5, and CJ crosses the line. Look at that car where it's parked.
Oh,
Wow. That, and Joseph has left the session. He is definitely frustrated, but Lando,
yeah.
for now, will finish in the last point spot. I wonder if that will stay or not. But Fire King and Sam battle to the line. Sam spins!
Oh,
He spins!
oh no!
And he's crossed the line. And Fire King's penalties
Aaron
will set
comes
him down a
over
little
as well.
bit. And there you go. That's Fire King.
Is that no? This is Aaron. I'm on board
This
with
one is Aaron. Yeah, no, this one is, yeah.
This one's Aaron. The one I'm on with right now. The last Ferrari to come across the line. Oh,
There you go. There you go.
I feel so sorry for him.